up, gamers? I'm Jason.
I'm Julie.
And today on Dice & Dragons, we are going to be reviewing Chronicles of Crime 1400, once again published by Lucky Duck Games and designed by David Cicurel. Believe it's French. If I got it wrong, please correct me down below in the comments. And Wojciech Grajkowski. Now, hopefully I pronounced your name right. Really not sure, but Julie gave me some pointers, and I'm doing my best. So Julie's got a PSA, and then we're going to tell you more. Well, I'll tell you about how you're going to be playing the game.
So we'd like to thank Lucky Duck Games for this review copy. Thank you for supporting the channel by providing us a review copy. But we'd like to remind our viewers that, as always, our opinions will be our own.
Yes, and I really want to say thanks for giving us a chance. With our first Chronicles of Crime review, we weren't the biggest fans of the game, and eager to see our opinions stay the same or not.
So it's a cooperative game. As with the others, it is still a cooperative game. It is intended for 1 to 4 players for ages 12 and above, and each scenario plays in about 60 to 90 minutes.
Yeah, I think we've really been a lot closer to the 60-minute mark. I think, well, based on what we've played in other Chronicles of Crime games, 60-minute mark is fairly solid. There's some that can run long. I believe the harder scenarios will get closer to the 90-minute mark.
Yep.
But other than that, it's really just going to depend on the amount of time that you invest in the game. We like to explore everything, sometimes to our detriment.
So what do we expect from the game?
Yes, what are we doing in Chronicles of Crime? Well, in this version of the game, you are Abelard Lavel. Is it Laval? No, Lavel, sorry. It's on the back here. I was cheating just a little bit. You are a knight who gets visions of crimes that may have happened or will happen in the future, and the citizens of Paris come to you for aid in solving these dastardly murders. So what you will then do with the help of your trusty dog Percival and your family is investigate the crimes. You'll be using a device with an app, so either iPad, iPhone, Android phone. You'll be scanning QR codes in order to interact with the app, which will then allow you to take a look at clues, identify who suspects are, also ask questions about what happened to your victim, and most importantly, inspect the crime scene in 3D. Now, did I miss anything, Julie?
No, I'm reminded about Percival or Percival.
Percival?
But I've never been a character called Abelard.
Abelard.
Abelard. Abelard et Percival.
Yep. Well, they're great French knight names, so
yes.
It works very well. So what do we need to do now, Julie?
Now we're going to grab our drinks.
Which is very typical of detectives.
You can be Percival.
Hoof. Hoof.
You're going to lick me, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay, take it to the table for another scenario.
Allons-y, Abelard.
Woof. We got that one wrong. The other way around.
Now we're going to take a quick look at the components for Chronicles of Crime 1400. And I was actually able to get the rulebook on camera for a change, so we'll start with that. So we got a nice layout of the game, list of the contents, how to set it up. I really do like just the graphic layout of the rulebook. It's very nice, easy to read, and you can go through the how to play section, or if you'd rather, you can just go ahead and play the tutorial that does a great job of explaining the game. Then you just have some credits on the back and some advertisement for the other Millennium Series games that will be coming out this year. Now, we'll take a quick look at the game board. I'm not going to lift it up. You've got an area for clues. What's important to note is that this red area is for clues that you've actually acquired. The blue area is for clues that you may have not acquired yet. For example, you got this ledger here. It will have a part to play in a case when you first find out about it. It will go here. If you're able to acquire it, it'll then move up into that red location. At the bottom here, we just have a spot for different character cards that you may have not yet located where they are in the city of Paris. So we were talking about locations. Let's take a look. So you have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 locations. Now we'll go over this in just a moment. I'll put it back down. Now they are all double-sided. Please note that I didn't put them back in order after the last time Julie and I played the game. So these locations will be appearing as you play the game. You'll get instructions from the app as to where different characters are located, and as to what these locations are. Now, this does remain consistent across all the plays of the game. We also have our family location here, our home base, where we can ask the monk, well, our brother the monk, our expert on rent materials. So anything, you find some parchment letters, he'll be able to help out. The merchant, expert on items, and the spy, who is the expert on people. Now, as we were talking about location, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these character cards. Now, we do have one that gets set aside. This is Percival, our trusty companion, who will be aiding us in our investigation. So I'll just put him back here. And what you'll notice here is we've got all the different characters. Everyone's just numbered. You've got a QR code. So as you're playing the game, they may be different characters from scenario to scenario. They really just represent an archetype that they are trying to showcase. And the art on these is pretty cool. We don't need to look at all of them, as they really are just people with QR codes at the bottom. Next, we have our two different types of clue cards. Now, these clue cards here with the star symbol, and you'll see the star there, these are specific clues that you're going to locate as you play through the campaign. They correspond to the same thing across all plays, if I'm not mistaken. If you are playing any downloaded scenarios, any custom-made ones, they may be changed, but these will always relate to certain things. So keep those in mind. They're usually a big part of solving your investigation. Now, the generic clues that you may spot in the crime scene are the ones with the regular clue token, as you can see here. Once again, numbered. They all have the QR code, so food, parchment and papers, footprints and traces. I kind of mashed those two together. Vehicles, blood and organs, liquids, bottles, medicine and drugs. You get a good idea. There's a total of 38 clues that you will get, and I really like the way that the app handles it in this new updated version. Now, what you do have that's new, and we're not going to take a look at too many of these, mainly the ones from the first two cases, so we do get these vision cards. Now, these are hints to help you figure out what's going on in the case. So when you start a case, you're going to get a vision, and this is the first one. So you see a character. We'll just say they're leaving a location and someone's waving them goodbye. You can see here we've got a scribe, we have this monk, and looks to be a bar patron. We've got a drunk. So you'll get some ideas as to what you're looking for. Now, these are labeled like this, up to 20. You want to keep them face down. Don't want to go through them necessarily to spoil the cases. We just showed you ones that really weren't going to affect anything. We haven't even seen the later ones ourselves. So there you have it. These are the components that you get with Chronicles of Crime 1400, the first of the Millennium series. And keep it right here, as Julie and I are going to be teaching you, well, not teaching you how to play. We're going to be coming at you with our review. If you would like to get some ideas as to how to play the game, at the end of our video, and also right now on a card, you'll see a link back to our review on how to play of the original Chronicles of Crime, because the way you're going to be playing this one and the way you're playing the previous one are largely the same. So give us a minute and we'll be back with our thoughts on 1400. So Chronicles of Crime 1400. We'll get to our thoughts in just a moment, but I thought it would be a good idea to recap just a few of the things that we didn't like about the original game, to put things a little bit into context for our viewers. We're going to do it quickly.
I was going to say, I don't want to, they can go back and review also the other.
They can watch our review.
Watch the reviews. But I would say for me, the most frustrating thing is things that were supposed to be clues. I remember what there were supposed to be clues that were you couldn't even tell what they were, let alone the fact that there would be a clue. And I'm thinking like a token.
Yeah, that was the first one. We missed like a playing card or a game piece, a poker chip.
A poker chip that did not look like a poker chip, so it looked like a coaster or something like that. That was my biggest concern with the first game, and also when you have to scan what a clue is, like you scan. Let's say you found the poker chip. It was, let's say it
you scanned a coaster instead of a poker chip. Well, then you got it wrong. There was no clue.
Yeah. So those were the main things that I also found we spun our wheels a little bit more. Like we'd get ourselves stuck in a corner, or we'd go down a path, and just get stuck there with no way back.
Yeah. So what I really found, and it mirrors exactly what you said, and I've been thinking about this for a while to get a good way to summarize it, is when we were playing the original game, it felt like we were trying to solve the mystery and then also figure out how the designer intended us to solve the mystery. Because you might be like, all right, this is a criminology question. You would ask the criminology expert and they wouldn't know anything. You wouldn't even get a hint or a reference, be like, hey, you know what? Maybe you should ask this other guy. So a lot of the times we were on the right track, but because we weren't thinking the same way the scenario was built, we ended up, as Julie said, spinning around in circles just a little bit, which was frustrating. Now, when we played the Noir expansion and we got more agency, like the ability to bribe someone, get into a brawl, just break in, what we really enjoyed about that was we're spinning around in circles and you're like, forget it, kick down the door, let's see what's inside. So that was really cool. And we said that we enjoyed the system when we first reviewed the game. We're like, they got a good base here. Now we're reviewing 1400. This is the second game, fourth version of the game, because there's the original, Noir, and Red View. So take it away, Julie. Let's get into 1400. We reviewed what we didn't like. Do we have the same problems with this one?
Well, I think this definitely goes a long way to solving some of those things. I'll give an example. One of the scenarios, there are papers on the ground, and in the different clues that you can scan, you've got papers and you've got writing.
Letters?
You got letters and you've got paper, parchment, and writing implements. So what's good about this version is if you decide, well, you think this is the parchment, or letters, it'll tell you no, you might want to check
the other clue.
The other clue, the writing.
It also, I noticed last time, I'm sorry to interrupt there, it doesn't dock you time when you do that. It points you in the right direction without penalizing you, which I think is a huge plus and a much improvement over the previous games.
So that's definitely an improvement, and I would say visually as well, they didn't highlight by making something proportionally out of place, out of size inside. They left everything normal.
So you're referring to the crime scene?
Yes, I'm referring to the crime scene and that unfortunate event that we had in the first version with that poker chip that looked like a coaster. We don't have any of that, at least in what we've seen. It's much, you're looking at a crime scene that is much more streamlined, I would say, and they really put a lot of different things, but everything you see, they'll tell you if it's important or not, basically.
Yeah. And it's also quite clear. I mean, it's not like you can't miss something on the scene. You definitely have to investigate, but there's a lot of hints as to what you're looking for. For example, in one scene, we noticed that there was ink. If you look, maybe you might get that mistaken for blood. Well, guess what? If you look a little closer, you'll see a quill. You'll definitely be pointing in the right direction if you take your time examining the scene with the proper amount of detail. And that's something that I really liked about this. Whereas in previous versions, it's like, did we miss something? I feel like I might have caught something because, as Julie said, some of those optical maybe not illusions, but just some odd optical choices with regards to the way the scene was laid out.
It's a lot cleaner, I would say.
Mm-hmm. That's actually the best word for it.
So the other thing that I like about this...
the visions.
Yes, that's exactly where I was going. So the visions definitely are a nice addition to this game. They definitely helped us out quite a few times. Look at the vision saying, oh, I think this person, as somebody would appear, they visually look the same as the vision. So you would say, okay, that's important. But also some of those more subtle clues in the visions also helped guide us to know what was important and what might not be as important. So that was nice. I'd also say I enjoyed the fact that there was a lot more locations and people involved. So there's a lot more moving parts, and for me, that makes it more fun.
Well, I think there was as many on the previous games, but I don't think they stood out as much. I feel like in 1400, and you have to be careful because this is one thing that we learned, you don't want to share the clue information with everybody, which is something that we found advantageous in some of our in the previous versions of the game. We actually ran into some trouble doing that. But I found that people are more diverse. You want to really ask them about specific things, and it could come into play to haunt you negatively if, for example, you show someone a piece of paper that maybe that other character that's going to help you out really didn't want them to see.
Yeah, you don't want to get into too many. We don't want to give spoilers.
I'm keeping it vague because you won't know what it is. And
so
maybe it happens, and you might make the mistake we did. The order that you interact with people is very important, and I appreciate that about this game. As you were saying, it's not too easy, contrary to making a video when you have a baby monitor that decides to start beeping. So apologies for that quick cut. Julie's now going to take it away and continue her thought. You're just seeing a little bit of the behind the scenes as to being a glamorous YouTube content creator.
Not glamorous at all. So I was saying it's not easy. So it's a little bit reminds me of the murder mysteries that you can read, the mystery books that'll take you down the wrong path or show you something to make you believe certain thing that if you're not careful can lead you down the wrong path. And I mean, we got taken with something not pulled in one direction when there was another explanation.
Yes, and we found something that was important, but every time we asked about it, everyone said it's not important. So we're like, okay, but that's what happened to us in the last scenario. And then when it came to solve the case, we're like, man, we really shouldn't have made one of those decisions, as it would have just all fallen into place properly.
So, I mean, those are the things that I like. You can still end up, you can end up going down a path that you can't undo. Like we said, we may have given information to somebody that we shouldn't have, thus breaking the relationship with that person and therefore making it impossible to solve the crime.
We also missed a perfectly good opportunity, which would have led us down the right path as well. And ironically enough, I don't know how it slipped by both of us. We thought about it earlier, and then it just we're at the right location, and we.
So that's the other thing that I want to say. So because the opportunity we missed was with Percival, and I really think that's a nice addition. I enjoy that Percival can basically is like a bloodhound and can
tracking dog, hunting dog,
can basically track things based on people, I guess, based on smell. So I thought that was interesting, and you basically don't want to forget to use them.
Yes. When you find something, and if you think Percival can help you out, he may be a little confused, but if he's a little confused, he will tell you, well, the game will hint that right location, right time, you may want to ask him again. And that is one of the things that I like about this version. And it's the same thing when you're interacting with your family. As we mentioned previously, we had some frustration between the experts. If you ask your brother, the monk, about something, and it's like, no, I don't handle this, it's your sister, the merchant, that handles this. The game is going to point you in the right direction with people that are supposed to help you, which is great, because I don't understand why, those experts and your consultants would want to hinder you in your investigation. So having it point you in the right direction will prevent you from wasting time and spinning your heels and maybe not getting that clue that you need. And I thought that was very, very well done. I also found that the family members are very well defined, exactly what they do. Your brother the monk is written objects, your brother the spy is people, and your sister the merchant is objects. So you really can't go wrong in terms of the categories that they've been placed in. And your fourth one, Percival, is really to help you track down and locate potential suspects. And I really
Or victims.
Yeah, or victims potentially as well. So it just works really well. And what I really have to say about 1400 is I feel that the game respects my time and my investment in taking the time to play this game, something that I didn't necessarily feel about the other game. Instead of penalizing me for missing something or not understanding something the way that it was written, the system is going to be like, you're close, you saw the right thing, here's what you need to do. And I really like that, because I'm able to progress in a case. I'm not going back to a crime scene. I'm not getting frustrated. And it means that even if I don't do well, if we don't do well, and I say I because you can play this solo as well, if you so choose, you're still going to feel like you accomplished something when you get to the end of the case. Now, the last case that we played, we actually solved the case, but we did not get a good score. And that was because we missed 2 opportunities. And interestingly enough, at the end, it was also a little late. We were tired, and we were discussing it afterwards, and we were like, how could we have done that differently. And we'd closed off 2 avenues to resolve the case, but there was one that we were at the location, the person was there, we had the information, and it completely slipped our mind to avoid exploiting it. Now, we might have missed some little clues still, but what was nice with regards to that case is that we had the killer, we knew roughly why the murder happened, we knew everything about the case, we knew who did what happened, who then was a party to the other event, why it happened, and it was just really cool to actually have the case solved and then be like, we missed these 2 bonuses, and we missed this one thing due to our own actions. It wasn't like the game system, didn't feel cheated by the game, if I just talked to this person, well, guess what, I would have went down that path and we would have solved everything. It was quite clear that we could have played the case a little better, and since we actually solved it, at least ourselves pieced it together, when we looked at the solution to get all the little details, we weren't like, oh man, that just wasn't fun. We're like, well, we did it. We just missed a few things. And you know what? I was actually happy that happened because it gave us a better review for you, our viewers, because we were able to really see how the system has improved. We're able to comment on it, and by, scoring okay on a case, not losing, not winning, we're able to really give you a feeling as to how not doing well in Chronicles of Crime 1400 feels. Now, if you completely miss everything, don't look at the solution, replay the case. You're going to have a lot of fun, I think, replaying it, whereas at least where we were at with that last case, I don't think we're going to want to replay it because we actually did solve it and we learned a lot more about the game system itself, which is, let's just give you a little bit of pointers, be careful what you're doing with your information, and don't forget about Percival. Now, there's not really much more that I add to it.
No, well, what I would say is if you don't like you don't like playing with a device, an electronic device, then this game is not going to be for you because you absolutely need it to play this game. The only other little pet peeve that I have is it's more from me and the way that my brain processes things, but these are different crimes, and I guess in a desire to streamline the number of components, there are character cards that come back that are different characters. So the second time we went through this, somebody, a card came back, the same number card came back, and I'm like, oh, it's so and so. Yeah, no, it's not. The crimes, I mean, though Abelard and Percival and his family remain the same. The other characters, the people, they don't have names on the cards. They just have a portrait, a picture, well, a portrait, I would say, a painted portrait. They will be different people. So that's the
best way. I know it's a pet peeve. I think the best way to think about it is, and this is how I thought about it, is that I think that number 13 is rough-looking thug. Number 1, and he might be Louis, and tomorrow he's Pierre. Just like the noble guy might be...
well, he was a thug in one, and he was a knight in the other. So, it's just... Yeah, they pick... It's a
but he was still a rough knight. He wasn't doing very well.
Yeah. So that's what I have to add. Did you have any negatives that you wanted to...
No, I don't really have any negatives that I wanted to comment on, because all the negatives that I've had to say about the system, and if you really want to see it, you can go back and take a look, as Julie mentioned, our review of Chronicles of Crime and our How to Play. So that will be popping up at the end here. Spoilers. Not really, but... and I just really feel like this is just an improvement, a step up. It's enjoyable. As Julie said, you do need a device, so that can be a downfall. You don't have to worry about having an internet connection. If you pre-download the cases, they download very quickly, which is nice. You will be able to play without any type of internet connection. I realized I didn't mention it earlier. I really do like the visions as well. Having those clues and the guides along the story really, well, they add a flavor to your character, and I think that's something that was maybe missing. I like being this knight. I like having Percival, and it's just a cool experience overall. But negatives, don't like apps. I'd say no. Another negative, but
you don't like apps?
No, if you don't like apps,
okay,
too bad. The component quality is a little bit lower than what you had in Chronicles of Crime, because each game is designed to be in an individual box. Now, that is something that for some people may be a deal breaker, but I would much rather have smaller boxes, something that's a little bit more portable, especially something they may want to play with friends, and you'll be able to toss in a backpack and go. So that depends on how you feel about it. The other issue that we ran into, and this could just be our devices, is we were hoping to do some screen mirroring with the Apple TV, and that did not work. So I don't know if it was we were not trying to do it from the app itself, so I can't say that it was Chronicles of Crime. We were just trying to do it from the iPad to the Apple TV. Possibly that there's a connection issue there, but it just wasn't an easy process. It would be nice to have it as part of the app. Especially if you want to play with 4 players, you're going to save yourself a lot of time having the crime scene on the big TV with one guy just, spinning around, looking a little odd. I'm sure if anyone looked in your windows like, why is he with and they're all pointing at the TV. Look a little odd, but, still lots of good times. So, Julie, why don't you go ahead and give your score for Chronicles of Crime 1400?
You're making me go first, huh?
The first of the Millennium series.
It's a 7.5 for me.
Wow, that is a big jump compared to our first.
Yeah, it's a solid game. It was fun. I would say don't play it when you're tired. You need your full brain power, and I think part of the issue we had with the last scenario, I'm not going to hold against the fact that my brain was fried. But I would say it's definitely something you wanna play when you're on full brain capacity.
Or at least 75%. You don't want to be down to 50.
No.
If we were at 75, I think we would have at least gotten an 80 on the last case.
Yep.
So I got to agree with you. This is 7.5. This system has just been improving. We started low with the first one. We went up with Noir. We haven't played Redview, and because of this, I think we're going to go back and play Redview. I'm also curious to see if they've gone ahead and modified anything about the original game. So it's fairly safe to say that at some point in 2021, we will review Chronicles of Crime Redview. We also probably do a revisit, as we have not played all of the cases in the original game. So we really like this. I'm actually really curious to see what's going to happen with the release of 1900 and now 2400. That's the futuristic one. That's what got me interested in getting back into Chronicles of Crime. When I saw that theme, I was like, this could be really cool. And I'm just happy to see this game system realizing the potential. And I think we're only going to see better and better things from here with Chronicles of Crime.
So now it's time to remind you guys to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified when we have some new content for you.
And also take a look down below in the video description if you'd like to see pictures of us playing the game. We do have not pictures, we have links to pictures and more because all of our social media feeds are down there. Don't know why I'm getting a little confused right now. Maybe I'm down to 50% brain power, but that's okay. This review is almost done. So yes, social media feeds, they're down there. Take a look at them. You'll see pictures as to what's joining the collection, maybe something that's leaving the collection, and definitely pictures of us playing Chronicles of Crime 1400. Also, you're looking for the copy of the game. If you're in Canada and you'd like to support the channel, we do have a link down below in the description also to multizone.ca, game store located in Gatineau. They do ship, so you can get the game delivered to you. You will get 10% off using our discount code, and a portion of your purchase will be returned to the channel. So it's a great way to support us and get a new game for yourself. Now, as I spoiled a little bit earlier, we will have 2 videos popping up in front of us. Over here, our most recent release, and in front of Julie, it will take you back to our review and how to play of the original Chronicles of Crime. Maybe one day it'll take you to a playlist, as there's lots of stuff coming for this in 2021. So who knows? If it changes, well, you know why. Now what do we need to do?
And now we grab our drinks.
I'm a dog. I can't drink. Closer. Closer.
You got doggy breath.
Grab our best friend. Should you pet your best friend? Oh, behind the ears. Oh, yeah. That's the stuff.
We're going to keep playing games. Yeah, we're going to keep playing this, I think.
Yeah, we're definitely going to finish this. So maybe you'll see a Chronicles of Crime summary after you play a few things. Maybe the old one, this one. And so you know how we're feeling about the game.